All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on how you should be careful with your wine usage, man. Careful with your alcohol usage, because the scriptures teach us that wine is a mocker. And I'm going to read this scripture here. This is First Ezra chapter 3 and verse 10. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. And this is going back to a time where certain men was questioning what is one of the most powerful things in the world. And one of the men said it was wine. Another man said it was women. But then another man said it was a king. But another man said it was women and the truth, right? And then the truth was actually stronger than women. And you've got this video going around now, going viral, of this young Jake. And I call him a young Jake because he's younger than me, right? And he was flirting with a big, huge, like some big overgrown Jake that's 6'1", like 300 pounds, mostly muscle. The guy takes all kind of steroids, strong as hell, can probably bench press. If you're a Jake that trains, he can probably bench press your deadlift or bench press your squat, man, or maybe even shoulder press your squat. He's one of those Jakes, man, right? Big and overgrown, strong as hell, right? Kind of a bit simple-minded in it, but like he's kind of a like relatively humble guy, to be fair, and doesn't really take too many things that seriously. So if a guy like that's hitting you, then you know that you've really gone too far. And the other Jake was like, he's like 5'5". He's kind of one of them influencer boxers or whatever, and he was flirting with the guy's wife, which the guy's wife is too much up in men's face anyway. And now since that situation, she's kind of changed her ways a little bit, but more than likely she's gonna go back to default settings anyway. But he was flirting with the guy's wife to the point where the guy reached a breaking point and slapped him in the face, right? Like damn near slapped him about 5 meters away from where they was originally standing, made his jaw hurt and all kind of stuff, right? Slapped him in his face. Then the other guys like caused like wanting to fight him, but before all of this, he was drunk. They was drunk at dinner. He's flirting with the guy's wife, calling the man a see you, calling the man, I'll say the word, calling the man a cook, talking mad reckless to the guy, just chatting all kind of smack to the guy, right? But the guy is significantly bigger than him, like significantly, which the Bible says striving up with a mighty man. And just because you box or you do some kind of combat sports, like there's a lot of people that box and do combat sports that they say this statement, size doesn't mean nothing, which is absolute bullshit, because even the professionals among fighters have weight classes. If size really didn't mean nothing, they'd just throw all the fighters in with no weight classes, and that's what they originally did when the UFC started. But as you can see now, they've made weight classes because size matters, right? Size matters, man. Now, in the terms of when Yahweh's deciding who's going to win the battle, the size don't matter. But if Yahweh decides to not step in and just leave it to go as it would naturally go, size definitely matters, right? Now, after this Jake got slapped in the face, his jaw's hurting and all that, right? He's wanting to try and do something, but he's like, man, this guy's big as hell. I can't really do nothing. He goes to a party again where these same people are going to be around, but some more people around. And the person whose party it was is an MMA fighter, right? And this Jake doesn't consider, maybe, you know what, since this guy's an MMA fighter, maybe some of the people that he's going to invite to the party are also fighters, like how he is, and like how he is himself. So the host is an MMA fighter, and some of the people that he invited are fighters, boxers, taekwondo, MMA, all kind of stuff. But some of them are former fighters, so they're retired. So then he ends up getting into an argument with another guy less than 28, 24, around maybe 24 hours after the previous altercation with another guy, right? Which he still tried to get into it with that guy and that party, right? All while being drunk, by the way, right? So then he gets into an altercation with another guy saying he'd slap the hell out of him after the guy said, aren't you the guy that got slapped on video yesterday and all that? And he angered him. But had he have been sober, he would have been able to handle that differently. But he ended up getting angry and saying, but I bet I'd slap the shit out of you though, and all of this, right? And then he ends up getting an absolute, man, that elbow technique that guy hit him with was mwah, beautiful. He ends up getting hit with an elbow live on camera, dropping to the floor. gets up while drunk, which I'll give him this. The guy's got a hell of a chin, because to get slapped by a 300-pound bodybuilder that's actually been officially trained by the world's best slap box competition heavyweight champion. I remember seeing that video. He'd been trained on how to do the slap technique, how the so-called experts in the slap boxing thing do, where they slap each other one for one. He got slapped by that guy and didn't get knocked out, right? Then he gets elbowed blindsided by a former MMA fighter that had very decent technique, man. That technique was crazy. And he didn't get knocked out by that either. He got knocked down, but then he gets back up and proceeds to try and start fighting the geezer as the guy tried to walk away after he knocked him down. Which, if the guy decided to carry on hitting him after he elbowed him, he could have seriously hurt him, man, because he caught him while he wasn't looking anyway, when he was trying to walk past him, when the guy was trying to walk past him. So really, he wasn't going to hit the guy. The shorter guy, the boxing Jake, that was drunk, he wasn't really going to hit the guy. He was just trying to say things to try and save face or whatever, but the other guy took it personally and wanted to try and prove, listen, man, I can hurt you too. Forget the guy that slapped you. I could hurt you too. And I would put my money on that guy being able to beat up the 300-pound bodybuilder that slapped him the previous day after I seen that elbow. But anyway, the point of this video is that watch your wine usage, man, because wine can make you be acting like a clown, man. Wine can make you, what wine was doing to that young Jake is making him be like, man, fuck that bitch's wife, nigga. Fuck that nigga's wife. She's fine, man. She's got a fat ass, man. You don't have to respect him. You don't have his wife's smiling at all the things you say, so she obviously wants a piece. And he even said in front of the guy, man, fuck him. He grabbed me and spun me around when we was recording. His wife's up for grabs. Like, how are you gonna say that in front of a man? In front of your own fellow Israelite, man. Like, he was being crazy disrespectful. But that's what wine will make you do. Wine will make you act like a fool. I know it's made me act like a fool in the past. Alcohol has made me act like a complete jackass. Being drunk outside of a nightclub on the floor, throwing up on yourself, looking like a simple-minded idiot, right? Getting into fights, doing damage to people, and you don't even know what you did. But when you try and go back to that same place the next week or whatever, they're telling you banned. You're trying to find out what you did wrong to make you be banned, and they're like, man, I don't want to talk about it with you, but you just banned. You can't ever come back in here again. And you never, every time you try and come back, whether your hair different color, like not different color, whether your hair shorter, longer a bit, different clothes, they remember your face every time and you ain't allowed back in. I've had my time of that, man. Like, I've been a complete asshole when it comes to all of that kind of thing. And wine makes you be an idiot. It makes you act like a fool, man. It will have you thinking that you can take on people in a fight that clearly, if you were sober, you would realize, man, this ain't a good idea. When him and that guy before all of that were just joking around on a recording that they was doing to try and make it be entertaining and all that, and they just had a joke wrestling match before he slapped him. The bodybuilder guy literally grabbed him by both of his wrists, span him around easily, swung him around for like about 5 revolutions of circles and threw him easily. He tried to give the guy an armbar when there was joke wrestling. The guy easily went from being on the floor on his back to picking him up and lifting him up and pushing him away, like, easily. That guy can deadlifts like crazy, 800 pounds and all kind of stuff like that. So for him to lift up a guy that's like 160 pounds, if at the best, is not a problem. So why would you be disrespectful to a guy like that? Only if you're drunk, you would think that that's a good idea. Only if you're drunk, man. That guy literally that he got slapped by literally went from when he was 18 was lifting way heavier than I've ever lifted in my life in the gym. And I don't think I'm particularly strong or weak. But when he was 18, he's lifted more than I have when I've been at an older age, man. The guy crazy strong. And he thought it was okay to disrespect a guy like that because the guy kind of acts simple and that. He kind of polite. He don't really want rock the boat too much. He don't really say nothing too crazy. He be friendly, right? But then even a guy like that eventually will lose it, man. And that's what's going to happen in this world when all hell breaks loose. Even guys that was somewhat humble are going to snap. And they're going to show, listen, man, I don't play games neither. I don't want you disrespecting me like that. I don't like that. It's going to happen, man. Let's go and find some more. Let's go and find some more about that wine, man, because it really will have you acting like an idiot, right? Here we go. Sirach chapter 9 and verse 9, sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thy money without the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through desire thy fall into destruction. And that's what happened to that Jake. He was drunk, he's around this man's wife, which the guy shouldn't have even brought his wife around. If his wife didn't know how to act, he shouldn't have even brought her around, because she was a problem too. And really, in my opinion, based on how she was acting that day, she deserved a smack in her mouth, right? And I saw an elder do a video about how hoes don't deserve princess treatment, but this woman is a hoe, in my opinion, and she's getting princess treatment from this guy that's a multi-millionaire, Jake, right? That's simple-minded, that got no prenup with the woman and all that. That he's like trying to do the right thing. He's trusting that women are what they say they are at face value, but finding out no, they're actually not. She's smiling up in next man's faces, embarrassing him, right? Making his reputation go down to the point where he has to end up slapping men in the face that, had she have nipped things in the bud earlier, some of that shit wouldn't have even happened in the first place, right? But it's just mad. This was all based around wine that caused this, man. Wine and wicked women and pride and the curses. And this is just a video warning. Now, I personally don't even drink alcohol anymore now anyway. But other people out there, they might still have a little taste of it every now and again or whatever. They want to have a little taste of wine or whatever, right? But if you know that it's going to jack you up, don't, right? If you know that wine's going to mess you up, have you acting all crazy, have you spazzing out, have you waking up in just your boxers in your kitchen on the face down on the floor, I think it's best for you to just allow it, mate. Just leave the alcohol alone, man. Because it will have you acting like an idiot. It will have you disrespecting your fellow brother, your fellow Israelite, when you don't even really mean it. Having you saying things to them that you don't even really want to say. Having you getting angry. Having you inhibit that voice that you would normally have when you're sober that says, don't act carnal. Don't smack him in the mouth. Don't box him in the mouth. Don't say this. Don't do that. Don't crash out. That voice will be inhibited when you're drunk, saying, yeah, do it, man. He disrespecting you. He messing with your manhood, Nilla. You gonna take that? Nah, fuck that nigga. Elbow that nigga. Like, it will have you spazzing out. Like what he was doing to this Jake. Making him crash out, get on a hype. Think it's okay to say in front of a big, swole, overgrown Jake that his wife's up for grabs, right in front of him and his wife, and then try and hug his wife and ignore anything that he's saying. Like, it would just have you acting like an asshole, have you disrespecting a guy that you actually have respect for normally, or a guy that you actually don't dislike or hate. It will have you being an idiot, man. Forget the alcohol. If not drinking alcohol right now was gonna make you get in the kingdom, wouldn't you stop drinking it? I think you would, right? If just not drinking alcohol right now, if you knew that if you just don't drink alcohol again from now until Yahushua come back in them chariots, you was gonna get into the kingdom, you would stop drinking it. You would say, fuck alcohol, I don't give a shit about drinking it. I'd rather get in the kingdom. You would do that. Let's read this one. Sirach chapter 31 and verse 25. Show not thy valiantness in wine, for wine hath destroyed me. And that Jake was drinking wine at the party, asking a chat, should I drink alcohol or should I not drink alcohol, as if they're gonna give him the choice. They're obviously gonna tell him, drink alcohol. And that's what that video made me think. Listen, I might do a separate video on that a lot of these rich Jakes, man, they need advice from the prophets that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai sent to the earth, man. They need advice because they don't know what to do. Like, even before that guy got slapped, Jake was sitting down talking about the Bible, right? But then your man's flirting with man's wife, saying he believes in God and all that, but then you're flirting with man's wife. The Bible says don't do that. Jake's sitting down. The other Jakes one of the other Jakes there talking about, yeah, I believe in the Bible, but we evolved from apes. The Bible don't say that. But when you've got your own Negro wisdoms right? Your own niggerologies that you're throwing around there. You're gonna just start chatting shit, and because you're rich, you're a millionaire. People are gonna listen to the bullshit that you're chatting. They're gonna be listening, actually believe, like saying, "Oh, mate, you know what? Maybe you're right. I've never perceived it that way." But really, you're chatting shit. But because you're a drunk, rich nigga, people are gonna be listening to what you're saying, actually making it like you're talking sense when you're just chatting shit. Like if one of the apostles would have been there, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, and they would have told this guy, "Oh, listen, man, go home, man," and that would have been the bet. They would have gave him good advice. Yo, shut up, man, go home, and they would have listened to it. If they would have came to one of the apostles and said, "What do you think I should do about this?" One of the apostles would have gave him good advice. They probably would have ignored it. But these rich Jakes in the world, they need advice from the prophets that Yahweh sent to this earth, man. They don't know what they're doing. They're dumb. Pardon me, they got all kind of money. But when you actually look at how they live their life, you're like, man, these guys are idiots, man. These guys are simple as hell. And then they start talking about the Bible, and you're like, raw, man, these men are dumb. And then you start seeing how they do things, and you're like, man, I'm almost glad I'm not rich. When you see how some of these Jakes do things, you almost start to be thankful that you're broke and that you ain't got no money like that, man. You start thinking, man, I'm glad I ain't got it like them, because that means I'd be like them. And if that's all the thing you have to go through, and all the disrespect you have to take just to get some money, then maybe it's better off that I ain't got none then, and maybe it's better off that I ain't all up in the world like that, so I don't have to deal with that kind of disrespect and deal with these kind of things that all these other people have to keep dealing with, and all these interactions that you have to keep forcing yourself to be into in order to keep making money. You gotta be around dweeb streamers, these little nerds and all that, so that you can get some money. You gotta go through a whole like compilation of all these different people that you gotta be around, have them talking, chatting, all that shit. Have man flirting with your wife, asking her dumb questions and all that, just to get some money. You'll be better off to not do that then, right? Let's see some more. Sirach chapter 29 and Sirach chapter 31 and verse 29. But wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind, with brawling and quarreling. And that's what happened to that Jake, man. He getting drunk, offering out 6'2", 300-pound Jakes to a fight, and then not even picking a good space to have the fight, picking a small room to offer him out in a fight, as if he wouldn't just get absolutely dashed. Right, boxing. Trust me, I like boxing, but a guy that's like maybe 150, 160 pounds, 5'5", he's very gonna have a big time struggling with a Jake that's quite athletic, been able to do quite decent fitness things. That's 300 pounds, man. That's currently on a bulk and currently actively taking testosterone. That's angry as well and powered up by how you disrespected his wife, and his wife's right there. That's gonna add to the stats, which is what some people don't understand as well. If let a man fight a professional fighter in front of his son and his wife, versus him fighting that man by himself when it's just them two. I guarantee the man, a regular untrained man, will be significantly stronger if he's trying to defend his wife and his son and his daughter, his children, all that from a trained fight. I guarantee he'll be a hell of a lot stronger. It'll be a hell of a lot more difficult to do what you want to do to him, to enforce your will on that guy when his family's around, man. This is what some people don't understand. Like, this world don't really respect nothing, man. And that's why you got Jakes running around crazy as hell, getting drunk, talking smack to everyone. You got all these IRL streaming people just going around disrespecting people that are just minding their business throughout their day-to-day lives, thinking that everybody that's around in the world is just a part of their content creation, basically. And the world is becoming dumb. And I predict that people are going to start getting very badly hurt, man, by trying to just mess with people that are catching hell in the real world. But somebody comes up with them with a camera, and because you're allowed to film in public, wants to start talking down to them and being like, but I'm allowed to film. I see people getting hurt in the future in a major way by some of these people that have got like one more thing that if they take it, they just got one last thing, that one last straw, man. But let's read some more, man. Let's see if there's any more. Here we go. Sirach chapter 31 and verse 31. Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth. give him no despiteful word, and press not upon him with urging him to drink. And that's what some people do in this world, man. Right? Some people be trying to urge you to drink so that they can try and see how you act when you're drunk, so they can try and laugh at you. You go to a party, you say, oh, I don't want to drink, I just want to have an orange juice, please. They spike you drink, right? Put a bit of vodka in there. Now you're like, man, this vodka has got me feeling a bit woozy. You're dancing or acting all crazy, right? Acting out of character. And then people are pulling out their phones, recording you, trying to laugh. Ha, you was crazy last night. But not mention that they drugged your drink. Right? This is the kind of things that happen in this world, man. You ask for a single shot of alcohol, they give you a double one. You say, oh, I don't want to drink tonight. They say, come on, man, you're boring, man. You're boring. Come and have a little drink up, man. Yo, come and have a little drink up, man. There's a punch at the party. Everyone knows about this one, the punch at the party. And people just be you wondering what's in this punch. And I'm a whole bottle of vodka in there, a whole bottle of rum in there, a whole bottle of whiskey in there, Baileys, and people just put all kind of a cauldron. It's basically a cauldron of spirits, man. And it's like a pinkish, ready. There might be super malt in there, Guinness in there, and you're like, man, what the hell is in this? I remember growing up as a young Jake, seeing my uncles and aunties and that, parents and that, be making these big ass cauldron, like Dutch pot size alcohol containers, man. I remember our family would throw their little family gatherings and that, and you just seeing like people pouring the alcohol in their drink in the glass with a ladle, and the next thing you know, one of the younger teenage family, like, they would drink that, and they'll start spazzing out, man, because they ain't even qualified at all to be drinking that kind of madness. But that's what happens in this world. That wine will have you bugging out, man. It'll have you acting like an idiot. Have you acting simple as hell. Let me see if there's any more, man. But I know that there's more anyway, but like, let's see what this says in the Old Testament about wine. Like that wine, man, you gotta be careful on that. I know some people they like the taste of it and all that, but hey, listen, man. If you know that when you drink wine, you bug out, ain't it better to not drink it? It'd be better to not drink it, right? Or if you can't say, man, I can't handle not drinking, you gotta admit that you might be an alcoholic then, right? You gotta admit sometimes that there's something wrong with you. And then your heart will be like, you know what, let me have mercy on you then. Let me take away this addiction of yours. You know what I mean? And that's just real, I'm saying that, man. And that goes for me too. And anything that I'm wicked about too. Yahweh will have mercy on you and gradually take you away from them things, man. Take us away from our wickedness. Take us away from our lust. Yeah. Let's carry on reading, man. Proverbs chapter 21:17. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. And just being a drunkard all the time, and being drunk makes a lot of these, is a reason why a lot of these jakes end up getting caught with Esau snares in these Hollywood, man. They get drunk at one of these freaky ass parties. Now they're on camera, caught doing a madness, and now that's used to bribe them, man. I mean, if they would have just went home, they would have escaped that. They get drunk, sleep with a woman at a party. She don't like how the overall outcome went. Now she said that it wasn't consensual. Now you're through. But when you're drunk, you're feeling yourself. When you're drunk, man, you might be 5'2" when you're drunk, when you're sober. But when you drink that alcohol, you think you're 7'5", bro. You might be not have confidence when you're sober. You drink that alcohol now, you think that you're Chris Breezy up in this. When you might be sober, when you dance, you think, man, I dance like Mr. Bean. But when you get drunk, you start thinking, man, I can dance like Usher. You know what I mean? You start thinking, man, when you're sober, you can't, or I can't sing, I'm not really that talented. Now you get drunk, you start thinking you can sing like Whitney Houston up in here, man. Start thinking you can sing like, I don't know, man, James Brown and all that. You think you're some high-level entertainer, just getting gassed up. That wine will do you in, man. Now, wine in majority, in what's the word, man? Wine's drinking like minority, like in a humble way. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, Salakia, but wine drinking moderation, that's the word. Wine drinking moderation, man, right, is okay. But if you know that you can't drink wine in moderation, just allow it then. Just forget it, man, because it will turn you into an idiot. You have yourself looking simple as hell, man. Or have a week off for it or something, like try, right? Because that young Jake, him because of wine, made him get slapped by a 300-pound bodybuilder one day. Then it had him miscalculate another guy that he's looking at, thinking that this guy can't do nothing, this guy ain't no fighter. And he doesn't even realize that the guy's a former MMA fighter and gets elbowed in the head. Offering out people that age for age probably would have beat to be able to do damage, because they can do damage to you now when they're 20 plus years older, right? And you're still in the age of youth, but him in his older age can still do damage to you, which is the reason why he was able to drop you with an elbow. Wine will really have you looking simple out there, man. It will really have you looking like a fool. Let's read this. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 3. I saw in mine heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what that was good, what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the sun, which they should do under the heavens all the days of their life. And the wine ain't it. When Solomon looked at what's good to do for the days of your life, he didn't say that wine was good to do. He never said that. He said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Right? Let's read this. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 7. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God accepteth thy works. Now, what that's going into is wine's okay to drink. And I'll read this verse as well that Solomon spoke about. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things, which is true. But that don't mean you're supposed to love money, because the love of money is the root of all evil as well, according to the scriptures. And wine was to make you glad, made to make you merry. But once you go past that merry stage, you start getting into that wrath stage, man, and you start acting crazy, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, man. Flirting with men's wives, wanting to be an adulterer, wanting to fight people. The alcohol will make you that inner voice that you normally makes you say, now get away, Satan. I rebuke you, Satan. In the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. The wine will make you not say that. And now you're not saying get away, Satan, say away, Satan. Now you're following what Satan wants you to do, man. Acting like a damn idiot. Right? And that video of that Jake made me realize, man, yeah, that alcohol, most of these things that he's doing because of alcohol, he's saying all these things because he's drunk. Jake doing backflips, thinking he can do a backflip while he's drunk, backflips into the damn mirror. Like, just acting crazy as hell. Like, you gotta be careful with the alcohol thing, man. And I'm gonna end the video there. Right? I just wanted to do a little video on that. And yeah, be careful with the alcohol, man. Wine is a mocker. Right? Shalom to the elect. Shalom.